All of a sudden, at the last minute, the universe says, I love the title of your video today. Let's see you do it. So the title of my video today is What Would Tarzan Do? Do you ever ask, what would Tarzan do? And lo and behold, I am now asking, what? So toward the end of every month, I don't know, do you do this? Do you kind of do a reckoning of all the things you were thinking of doing and planning to do? I watched a very interesting reel of something the other day, and a very clever person who I am sure has caused a lot of people in his life to go, oh, said, you have to be very careful about a to-do list. Good morning, Eddie. How are you? You have to be very careful about a to-do list because if there's more than 2 or 3 things on it, it's not a to-do list, it's a wish list. I thought, oh dear, busted. completely busted. So before we begin, cheers. Good morning, Miss Maggie. How are you? Cheers. Oh, I swear that idea that I had a few days ago saying, I wonder what happens if I put a little hot chocolate in my coffee. Oh boy, I'm not sure what it is. So every time I think I have come up with a great idea, I do something called reverse engineering. And oh, you're cold? Oh, Eddie, I'm so sorry you're cold. All of my dear, sweet, wonderful friends south of the south of the border between Canada and the United States are suddenly going, God, what is that? And really, my loves from below the border, it is our way of saying we're just getting you ready to come and visit us, and to remind you not to come in the winter. That's it. It's a gift from us, really. It's a helping. We're helping you. Anyway, this business about the end of the month, I usually have a set of things that I want to accomplish in a 30-day period. I feel like I should be seeing Luke Skywalker out there warming up. Yes, yeah, that's right. With that, whatever the thing was, it is an interesting conceit that we have invented things called seconds and minutes and hours, and days and months and whatnot, in order to keep track of things. When, not that long ago, our most recent predecessors looked up and said, the sun is out, it's probably daytime, let's get started. The people very north would say, the sun is out a long time, we got a whole lot of lists to do. But then at the other end of it, they had a lot of time to rest. And however it is that we set ourselves our benchmarks of things to do, one of the things that I have discovered is a very natural desire to avoid doing the boring ones or the heavy lifting ones. We sort of put those at the end. And I remember reading a thing not that long ago. Somebody wrote, if you have to eat a frog, eat the big one first. And I thought, there is a great deal to be said for taking on the task that is the most unattractive. However, we lean toward feel good, right? This is their survival technique. I don't wish to walk around with an alligator clamped to my ankle, so I would rather avoid where alligators live. And in a lot of ways, we kind of set ourselves up for upset, annoyance, exhaustion if we put all of the heavy stuff toward the end. And one of the things that I love doing with my clients, by the way, I talk about this all the time, but I don't really explain. My clients come to me when they're ready to shift direction. When it's not that they're necessarily ready to shift, it's that they've hit a wall with how much more of this they're going to put up with. And they realize that they're not entirely sure how the shift is done. So they reach out to me and they say, can you help me? And I say, probably. And we discuss it. And when I can, it begins. And so one of the things that I created a long time ago to kind of give people a you are here. There's a map, right? And there's a little whoop that says you are here. Life doesn't give us those. So we have to create them. And one of the little worksheets that I've created is called the time scheduler, because we don't really figure out how much time we invest in things. So I said, on the far left, you list the stuff. You don't list it detail by detail. You list it by sleep, get ready for the day, eat, clean up, commute, work, take breaks, run errands, perform maintenance, belong to your tribes, your clubs, your hobbies, entertainment, fitness, all that sort of just general, right? And then just before the end of it, I put the new thing. And I explained to people that in every day we get 24 hours according to this construct that we've created. And the odd thing is there's never any left over. Like when you get to midnight, that was it. You can't save it. So what happens then is that there's lots of time we don't realize we're spending because we don't keep track. We don't have a stopwatch. We don't have that little inner voice saying, and we're out. And so in order to get ready to change, what I help people do is recognize how much time we don't use productively. And I'm not talking about reading, and I'm not talking about relaxing and closing our eyes and taking a deep breath. I'm talking about just cheese doodling. It tastes like nothing. It kind of fills you up. It's awful. It's messy. And you still have all that stuff that you wanted to do. So make a list of all of that. Just put in how much time. And the funny thing is that at the end of that first week, I said, this is your first week's homework assignment. You do it every day for 7 days. I know it's annoying, but you don't have to do it again to the same extent. You're going to see where you don't consciously invest your time. All the parts where you're floating, because we all end up floating at some point when we lose our focus, when we lose our passion, when we lose our purpose and our direction. And my job, because I have done this my whole life, is figure out how to circumnavigate that. And what is this, Eddie? When you push freight, I gravitate toward the pallet of merch that would be the most difficult. Yeah, sure, get it done. Eddie's got the big frog at the top of the pile. So when we are looking at, oh my God, I had no idea. Like when Maggie and I started working on Maggie's brilliant project. Oh my God, this brilliant project. Am I clear enough on how brilliant it is, Maggie? I said, you need to do that. If you're going to add something of significance, you need to know where you can add it. And at the end of that week, she said, okay, this is embarrassing how much time I just fritter away. And I said, okay, good. That's because you didn't have anything to do of substance. So you filled the time, because nature doesn't like a vacuum. You have to do something. Even if all you do is stand still, you're taking the time. So when we discover that thing that we no longer need, it's very exciting, because it tells us what we have room for, that we want, that we're curious about, that we're hungry for. And it's like, when you take your jackets to the dry cleaner and you discover $20 in the pocket, it's like that. Oh my gosh, I have all this time. I didn't know if I was going to have time. I have time. Oh boy. And that's the first step in refocus, in reset, in congratulate ourselves that we actually can do this. So, my title today for the video, do you ever ask, what would Tarzan do? What would Tarzan do if his vine broke? What would Tarzan do if he woke up one morning and all the trees had fallen down? There was a high wind, clearly. What would he do? How would he get to wherever it was he was going? I'll tell you one thing Tarzan would do. Tarzan has a superpower. Tarzan, aside from the yodeling, Tarzan has incredible upper body strength. And he has a bunch of buddies. They can form a team. They can do something with those trees. They can heavy lift. They can put them together. They can build something. They can use those vines to lash those somethings together. They can create a separate outcome. And you know what? Since they're not swinging through the trees, they got all the time they need. And so when I talk to people about, we find your superpower and we use that as the thing, the key, the element, the spice for the recipe. We begin there. What is this thing you can do? How else can we use this thing? What other function, other than swinging on vines because he's strong, what can Tarzan do? What would Tarzan do? And all we have to do is decide whether we want to insert ourselves in the conversation as Tarzan or Jane, or any of Tarzan's sidekicks or hers. What would we do if the thing we did no longer serves and the new thing is the thing we crave? What would we do and how would we do it? So another story I want to tell you. Hang on a second. Cheers, by the way. It's very chilly out there, and this is very warm. I was having a conversation with one of my my mentors. I've been very fortunate in my upbringing in my life. I've had several really brilliant mentors. Interestingly, although I suppose I gravitated that way, they have all studied psychology. They all have degrees of one sort or another in the understanding of man and mankind. And they, in order for me to be in step with them, to work with them, to assist them, they had to teach me the fundamentals that they had learned so that I could understand what on earth they were talking about. And then I could say, what about this? And can we do that? And at one point, one of them said, I've just realized that I have actually paid you to learn all the things that it cost me a fortune to learn. And I said, I know, right? and she said, yes, well, yes. Do you realize that a couple of 100 years ago, all I would have to do is say, you are a psychiatrist. You are a psychiatrist. You are a profiler. You are a specialist, because I have those skills and I have shared them with you. And so I had a world-class marketing specialist. I had a strategic psychological writer, producer. And then I had 1, 2, 3, 4 people who do therapy, all of them teaching me everything they know. And adding all of those things to my my own little portfolio of survival tools. Only child, military kid, lost my parents early. I have basically written my own map. I've designed my own compass. I've built my own boat. And I've charted my own course. Periodically looking up to see how's the weather and where everybody else is going. Never really believing that where everybody else thought was a good idea actually was. Checking it out, but holding firm to my thought that if I do this, I'll get that. And if I skirt the shoreline, I won't get into too much trouble. And it's the way I've lived. And the quicker you can profile a scenario, the quicker you can see patterns of people's behavior, the quicker you can fit in and get involved in what's going on. And all of these tools over years and years and years, I have put together to create my own career path. And it's rather unusual to start with no training whatsoever and in 1 year have a television series based on a show that you wrote with no experience doing that. And I did it. And then after that, I did it again and again and again. And after this long delay, some of it due to COVID, I'm back and I'm doing it again. What I have begun to call Pivotry in motion is the thing we all do that we have always done. And that is change our mind when it doesn't look good. Change our mind so we can change direction. Change our mind, change our purpose, change our commitment to it, change our belief in it as a best case scenario. Change that willingly That's the Pivotry part. That's the artistic, creative, abstract part, so that we can perform that physical pivot without wasting time. We're not on the scenic route. We're not taking the slow curves. We want to get where we're going. We make a pivot. We have already decided we're going. We have already looked at the odds and the cost and said, it's worth it. Let's do this. That's the Pivotry part. Where most people get stuck is, what if it doesn't work? What if I don't like it? Well, then we can pivot again. You don't just get the one pivot. The reason most people are stuck, I'll tell you, falls at the feet of a man named Walt Disney, because Walt Disney created the concept of happily ever after. And whenever I talk to somebody about it, who brings it up, who mentions it, who says, I was expecting to be able to stop when I crossed the finish line. And I said, there is no finish line. There's an arbitrary tape if you're going to run that race, but there is no finish line. As soon as we cross that step, there's another one up ahead. There's another goal up ahead. I wrote a book called Fame, and I interviewed a bunch of people, and I asked each of them what their personal definition of fame was. And the reason I asked them is they were all famous eventually, and they all had a separate definition. And one of them said to me, what's yours, Abby? And I said, I think fame is the wet spot on the highway. It's just up there. It's just up there. And it doesn't matter whether we speed up or not. It's just up there. And from a distance, everybody else can see it too. They say, go, go. Oh my God, you're almost there. You're almost there. No, no, no. Fame is the journey. Fame is every single step when somebody says, oh my God, that's fame. Fame is when we say, yes, mine, mine. Famously, mine. Hard won, mine. Easy slide into home, mine. So this is what I want to say to you today as we're coming toward the end of January, and February is almost upon us. And you know, when you say February, you're thinking, and pretty soon after that, it's warm. Is this. January is the beginning of new ideas every year, sometimes New Year's resolutions that we may or may not follow. According to the Chinese zodiac, the year begins in February. 2025 was the year of the snake, the year of shedding old and getting ready for new. 2026, which begins in mid-February, is the year of the fire horse, the giddy up and go. So we have been shedding. We have been getting ready to and for and with. And all the ideas that you've had, much like mine, are on the ready mark. We have our hands down. We have one foot back. We have our heads up, and we're waiting to hear the starter's pistol. Let's do a little bit of homework. Are your shoes tied? Just saying, you've still got time. Are your shoes tied? Do you have the to-do list? Is it short? Is it cool? Is it fascinating? Is it exciting? Have you done the time scheduler? Do you know how much time you have? These are the days, my lovelies, when we get to clear the path. I have a new show, and Gary Swithenbank and I have a brilliant, brilliant turn your lives around training, coaching, success program. We've already got some people involved. It's very exciting. And when I launch officially this year in birthday month, everything all at once, ta-da, come and watch it. Come and see what little surprises there are. Always remember and never forget that in birthday month, you get the gifts. I get to give them. So I'm beginning again, beginning anew, as I do every year. And this year, ABCAST 432, I'd like to begin again with you. Let me know if you're ready. Thank you, by the way, so much for watching these videos. The LinkedIn folks are really going crazy. Bless you. YouTube, bless you. Facebook, bless you. You are giving me your thumbs up that I'm on the right path. And I'm so grateful. So before we go, remember the drill. Be good to you. It's cold out there. Wear socks at least. Remember to hug your loved ones. They deserve it too. Start getting your ducks and your frogs in order. We only have a couple of days left in January, and before you know it, the red horse will be riding on in. And we have so much to do together. Until next time.